We have our nukes expiring over the next couple of decades, 20% of our power load. What's your take on nuclear power?
First of all, it's great to celebrate the advances we've had in recent years, as Andy and I have just had. And we can look for future, like the electrification of transportation and zero net energy buildings. This is not to say the policy job is done, not by any means at all, because we need a further suite of technologies, and we need to turn over the obsolete equipment. Otherwise, we'll just run it forever. Mm-hmm. Nuclear power is an interesting case. It's the fissure line, if you will excuse the pun, between energy mavens. Everyone's either for it or against it. I like to say, I'm using David Mackay's phrase, I'm pro-math. I'm not pro-nuclear, I'm not pro-solar, I'm pro-math. Here's the simple math with nuclear, and it's kind of frightening. There are 400 reactors in the world. They're essentially all Generation 2 reactors. They were mostly built in the 70s and 80s, and they're all going away because they're embrittled and they're old, and it costs more to fix them than to run them. So we're going to take that off the table in the next couple decades. There's maybe a dozen or two third-gen reactors which are supposed to be safer and operate better, but I predict there will never be more than double-digit third-gen reactors because they're incredibly expensive. The last ones coming online in Europe are 17 to 20 cents a kilowatt hour. So if we take away Gen 2, and Gen 3 has a very low ceiling, what's next? Mm-hmm. Gen 4, the small modular reactors which are proliferation resistant and cheap and inherently safe and don't have waste byproducts. And the only problem with them is they don't exist. So what does it cost to create them? It costs a minimum, in my opinion, of $10 billion to thoroughly test a design and see if it's commercial ready. Yeah. And so the world.
What's the time frame on that, Hal?
Well, it's decadal plus. Mm-hmm. And so the world is not organized to create a serious nuclear option, not yet. And I think we should do the R&D. Right. I think we should find out if this is feasible, but we're not there yet.
I would say, Brian, what is the cost of not creating them, right? This is, to me, dealing with nuclear is not an optional discussion for this country or for this planet, right? We've done it, whether we like it or not. You know, we have unleashed on mankind the power of splitting the atom. This nation did it in the middle of a war. All the consequences of our world changed from that moment onward. And we can't vacate the field of moral responsibility we have to fixing and detoxifying the end of the nuclear waste streams and to understanding and harnessing that power for peace and for the betterment of the environment in the way that it clearly can serve as an emission-free source. So letting our fleet atrophy without a deliberative strategy over the time frame that all of that emission-free power is coming offline because of a temporary bump in fossil fuels is about as a dumb, not forward-looking a strategy as this country's ever had. We can't abdicate. We have got to be in the field of nuclear power, and we've got to rededicate ourselves to the purpose of cleaning it, making it safe, and getting it right. And getting it right. And getting it right.